Microphone check. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Kenneth. Welcome. Hey, Joe. Hey, Brian. We are just waiting for Doughty to join us, and then I will hopefully add him seamlessly and do a quick audio test, and then we're all good. Kenneth West, the man of the hour, is here. KJ's here. Good to see you this past weekend. Twitch, okay. This is me talking. Doughty, give me your levels here. Twitch, okay. This is me talking. Try it again. We're going live, and we are transitioning. Look at that, beautiful. Here we are. Now, hey, Plenderlings, how are you? Good to see you. I know audio. I know the Daudio. Dottie's audio is going to be a little quiet on this. I will do my best. Perhaps I can speak softly and he can speak loudly. That might work. No, that peaked everything. So here we are. It is time to talk about the Sea of Daggers, and we have a lot to go through tonight. Let me just turn this down completely. Let's do a test here. Audio test. Can you hear Matt? Let us know. Yeah, this is a pretty momentous occasion, I think, because While people are aware of the Sea of Daggers, which we're hit refresh here. We're cruising along at 84% funded with exactly 2 weeks to go. We're at a nice clip there. People don't realize what we're about to unveil here, and that is that as I started to lay out my plans for Sea of Daggers, it oddly intersected a lot of your very early work and a lot of your pre-Glyos work. So what we are sort of unveiling here tonight is that the Sea of Daggers actually has this little crossover collaboration component with a long-lost sort of chapter in the Onell design universe that I don't think anybody here has seen, would you say?
I don't think I ever really put any kind of focus on this um, until even between the two of us. I mean, we've talked about it here and there for years, but only in a minuscule way. It's when you started this up, it sort of triggered, it opened up the gateway to thinking about it again, especially because we were doing all the layout for Gray and our usual back and forth, and it was too close to not to not discuss because it's too fun to potentially explore it. Um, yeah, we had to go down this road. It's too much fun not to.
The chat is saying they can barely hear you. Yeah, he's way too quiet.
For once, I'm too quiet.
Up that audio source. I can up the audio source, but I feel like I'm going to be peaking here, which is probably the case. Let me just check my Twitch stream here. I can up the audio source, but I feel like I'm going to be peaking here, which is probably the case.
You want me to? I can call back in. Try it different. Maybe my phone is just a putz.
No, I think just keep it as close. Yeah,
Snuggle closer.
I will be softer. I will be softer, and Matt will just.
How about this?
I'm sure that's much better.
A little better?
Yeah, there we go. I've never had a single live stream ever not have complications. So, but in any case, it's not better. They're saying. I will translate what Doughty is saying to all of you. I will whisper. Just call him. I hate streaming. I really do.
We can make the fucking toy from nothing, but we can't get
Yeah.
the goddamn Zoom to work.
Yeah. Boy. I could call him. It's actually worse now.
Let me call you back.
Maybe we just do this audio-wise. We have you on audio-wise. And,
No one needs to see my face.
yeah. So, yeah, why don't you physically call me on my phone, and I will patch that in somehow. We will see. Okay, sounds good. All right, stand by, guys. We're going to do a quick reconfigure here. Okay, we got Matt on the line.
How about this?
Hold on. Give me a sec.
Yeah.
Okay, I am back here. Here I am. The question is, can we hear Matt? All right, speak again.
Chow mein.
I don't think that's going to do it. Hold on. It did work. Okay. They're saying it did work. They're saying it did work.
So I'll be the voice. I'll be Jarvis for the evening.
Okay. Is everyone hearing that? Much better. All right.
Is that good?
I guess it is.
Roger. Excelsior.
Okay.
Peace.
Okay, great. We are professional streamers here. Look, let's just get right to it. I've wasted enough of everybody's time. This is an evening of many different reveals for the campaign. Perhaps if Jonte is standing by, he can post the campaign link. For those who are just joining us, don't know what we're talking about, the Sea of Daggers is my and the community's private fundraising effort to unlock a brand new character, and a character in the same style as the Gauss armor, what we call the sort of Discman figures. And it has been moving along at a really excellent pace. I'm very sorry I have cough drops in. I've been sick as a dog since Game of Hope. I think there was something nasty going around in that little workshop. So let's just get right into it. The first reveal we have here tonight is that now on the campaign page there are different items. So if somebody just wants to throw in $5 to support the effort, they can do that now. And in return, they're going to get a set of 2 holofoil cards by Plastibo. And this is the debut of Plastibo's version of Hob, which I love very much. I probably should have sent this to you earlier, Doughty, but rest assured, it's amazing. So if people want to sort of contribute in a small way or want to contribute additionally beyond their pledge, they can go ahead and do that at the pledge page. But I would say wait until the stream gets going because I got a lot more stuff to sort of show everybody here. So that's very exciting. That's a great sort of entry level for everybody. I know, God, this cough drop is stuck to my molars. I'm going to floss live on stream if we can get to 20,000 tonight.
That is an aggressive cough drop.
It is. It's the honeys ones that are like just candy, really. But I need the throat coated. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Gum hugger.
look, Plastibo, we're thrilled to be working with them. They've done some amazing art. This will now, if you back the campaign at any time, you're already getting the standard Cray card, but that's not holofoil. These will both have a holofoil effect. So for $5, that's a great deal, and it's an easy way to toss a couple more ducats into the campaign. But we got more to talk about right here, floating off screen for some reason. Always great that I spend all day long troubleshooting and setting this stuff up only to have it not work. But you can see our boy Cray doing a little pirouette. This is, again, not final. We're about, I don't know, I would say 90% of the way there. There is a bit of work to do, but I really love it. And I like that Anthony threw some color on these. And I do not recommend honeys when you're trying to talk, because it truly just like, it's like a symbiote just gripping on every tooth and slowing you down. In any case, I'm the utmost picture of professionalism, so I will endure. But right now, the audience is seeing a lovely spinning 3D model of Cray at his current stage, which again is about 90% of the way there. We got a little bit of redlining to do. Tremendous fan of that color choice. Thank you. Thank you very much. The face is looking good. The face will continue to be massaged, but I'm very, very thrilled with the progress here, as I think everybody else is. Then we got another picture, which again, peeking off screen for no reason. This was already set way earlier. We have a sort of front, side, and back view with and without arms. It's looking great. I think real men wear purple pants. I think everybody would agree with that. But really, the sort of crux of this conversation is the crossover here between Sea of Daggers and this world that Doughty created that is eerily similar to Sea of Daggers. As you and I have encountered many times over, we just we're cut from the same sort of the same cloth. We've had numerous and endless coincidences that are more than a coincidence. And so when I embarked on the Sea of Daggers, it was no surprise, it seemed very fitting that you actually had concocted an entire sort of pirate-based storyline. And what was most striking to me was that this predates the aesthetics of the Glyos universe, which I think we all love here, but is a very sort of consistent and a very pervasive biomechanical sort of style. And it's infused into every area of every design of every character in many respects. So to see what I'm now showing the audience, this is like an entire different pocket of the universe. We're looking at some of your... the scale of the figure is 1/18, so it's roughly 4 inches tall. We're now seeing your sort of very rough black and white drawings of a ship and some sails and a masthead. And do you actually have a name for this universe or this chapter of your story?
I always just refer to it as Klein Nonan, because that's the main character's name. And the working titles of all these sort of pre-Glyos stories were always just the name of the character. And then in time, I was like, well, maybe I'll, get the title as I would work on it. And then as I kept jumping between each of these old stories, I just was so focused on the stories and the characters that I figured I would just kind of pull the title out at the very end. So internally, I just called it the Klein Nonan Stories. That was it. It's super boring, but the character's name was strange enough that it maybe would be, that's probably, it would have been called something else had it ever surfaced. But that was what that one was called.
This would later go on to be called Clive Owen, the famous actor. But, right off the bat, we have a weird synchronicity. Cray is the lead character of Sea of Daggers, and Cly is your character. Like, once again, we're finding these sort of ancient ley lines we didn't really know existed.
I think we were looking into the same weird, prism as children or something. I know I've got you by about 10 years, but it's fascinating because it's happened so many times. And this one was really, really interesting as we started going over all the designs. Because I've known about Cray for pretty much as long as I've known you, which goes, we're past 20 years. I'm pretty sure close anyway.
Oh yeah.
And I've always had an affinity for Cray. But when he kind of hit the high seas, that's especially when we were developing, the control art and kind of, jumping around and sort of really getting into truly making this into a figure. That's, while I was working on those drawings, it weirdly felt like I must have triggered the old version. Those lines, the striations of the fabric, the little ornamental bits and bobs. It just was triggering it, and I sort of felt like I was drawing back in 1998, 99. It felt good and exciting, and so that was already kind of a wild thing, especially when you look at how long we've been working on your stuff together in these last basically 8 years. So every single project is fun. Every single project is an adventure, challenges things in different ways. Just like working together on like this is your vision. Like I tell Michelle, I like to be everybody's Lancelot if I can, outside, not sleeping with your wife. But
You're welcome to. That's fine. We can work out a price.
You're King Arthur on this project, and all the other makers of their own. And I just try to do my best to help And this one was a little different because it, in some ways, you being kind enough to let me, partake in the development of this once again. It like resurrects, brings in an old boat, one that I kind of thought was I wouldn't really revisit again. And so when we started to go back and forth on it, I thought, well, geez, this could be pretty cool to bring it back. Like you said, since it predates proper Glios. The Glios system name came to be when I was working on Recklin and Aves. That's where it was just literally the system they were in. But within that Glios system, all these other little stories were existing at different times. So Recklin and Aves is where Faden came from. But Kleinonen and Sol Balam, and some of these names I'm saying I would use to, as certain colorway descriptions over the past, now I guess we're in year 17. They would sneak in there, and they would have relevance if you knew internally. People like Michelle would know why I called a gold character Sol Balam, or call it Balam.
Yeah.
Because in that particular story, there were these golden humanoids that lived under a lava, like we've talked about a million times. But Clyde's significance in this one is, this seeing Craig going on the ocean, and then our as usual combined love of all seafaring weirdos.
Sure.
Even of the Castlevania, Grant and Nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so everybody else would play as the other characters, and of course you and I would play as the same stupid wall crawling.
Of course.
Goof. It makes perfect sense. So it made perfect sense when we really started to talk about what would be a fun, army builder, or what would be a fun way to, again, cross the lines. They're crossed in deeper ways than people probably even understand.
Right.
This one's more overt. So that's the sort of lead in there, is that the antagonist in the Kleinonen stories, which was, my character was blonde, is dark-haired. My character was sort of on a little boat, kind of growing up on the ocean, and then being plagued by these sort of what we called the naval deep.
Well,
they were,
that's a great place to sort of transition the artwork here. I got the naval deep concepts up on here.
Cool.
And, I'm happy to say that this is where we've landed in terms of a crossover figure. So for those who maybe took a peek at the campaign page, there's now an option to add an army builder of the Naval Deep. And, narratively, there's a lot of exciting stuff to having, a Matt Doughty pre-Glios character kind of interact with Cray and the sort of crew that we're going to meet. So, for those people that want to sort of boost up their support for the campaign, you have two more options. We got, obviously, the 2-pack of cards, the foil cards, and now also, if you go to the Secret Army Builder tab, which is on that landing page there, you should be able to add as many of the Naval Deep as you want. The idea here being this is, a bunch of new parts that work with Cray's arms and his legs. So, these will be in the same... No, Naval Deep is available now for anybody that wants them. And people are pointing out at the merfolk head. So load up as many of this army builder as you want, you can get, and it also adds to the tally of the overall campaign. I'm now showing the concept art. Now, obviously, things can change, but this is how the Naval Deep character may look on the Cray body. Some beautiful Matt Doughty artwork here as well. Actually, let me put these side by side because these look pretty nice. Yeah, there we go. And it looks completely crooked. There we go. Okay, now everything's all aligned. And, your instinct has always been, there needs to be an army builder. There needs to be something that people can have multiples of. And right when they get this huge package sometime in 2024, they can have an instant battle on an epic scale. And I'm very glad we landed on this guy. It was instantly captivating to me. Yes, the Naval Deep will be using the Discman style. That is correct. So that is available. That is live now, along with the foil 2-pack. And again, every purchase will go to moving the goal up. No, this is not a repurposed Merhead from Mighty Maniacs. This predates Mighty Maniacs by a couple decades, actually. I don't know how much variety you can get with the idea of a sort of Gillman, right? Like, I think there's always going to be some level of aesthetic similarities to these things, right?
There'll be some pushing and pulling on that too through the forehead. Rocom's Merman is actually funny. When I saw that when I saw his drawing, it reminded me of this old Kleinonian character. But what we'll have more detail, more along the lines of Goss and the higher level, deeper detail. So, like Jesse's saying, there's sort of a grand aesthetic that we all sort of like to play with this sort of handsome humanoid merfolk. But as that sculpt proceeds, it will have a different level of depth, physical depth, through the ears, the back of the head, but also in a fun way can still connect to Mighty Maniacs. We love Mighty Maniacs.
Yeah, they work great with my figures.
And it's a natural fun expansion of it as well. But they will have a different vibe.
Yes.
Even though they have a similar structure.
We got a good question here from Cappy. Will the Naval Deep be one of the 6 crew members at the deckhand level? I think the Army Builder version is going to be very close to this blue and white and teal version. There could reasonably be a recolor of the Naval Deep available as one of the 6 crew members. It's hard to say now because we don't know how big the campaign goes, right? So I want to reserve a little bit of leeway to kind of add and subtract as I need to based on where our sort of final tally goes. While we're speaking about Cappy, it is also worth mentioning he's got something nautical coming soon, the Brine Lords, and those are going to be debuting at Legion's Con in, God forbid, a little more than a week away. So that's very exciting. I got a little sneak peek today, and I'm very excited. And all of it works beautifully with what we're trying to do here with Sea of Daggers.
Lovers of the ocean amongst the Glyos makers, it's pretty funny to watch when it comes through. Cappy in particular, grew up on the other coast and he has a deep love for all things oceanic. And the Brine Lords, it's almost like a love letter from him and Pat Bussey, the great Pat Bussey, to all of those things. People are going to be fascinated when they get a hold of the Brine Lords. And again, all of this stuff will all come to a nice fusion as we get into 2024, because we have things over here, hopefully for Wave 100 at some point in the early 2024 that will also be venturing down into the depths. And part of the design elements that we're incorporating with the Naval Deep have significance for what we have in store over here as well. So
absolutely,
so when we will, inevitably and hopefully run the Naval Deep, the versions that we'll put out are the connectivity story-wise and the connectivity physically will make even more sense down the road. So Jesse and I, and a lot of the makers, we try to stay ahead of it at least half a year out. In some cases, more than that. Some things take a year to make. Most things take about that long these days. but there's, even with the Kaiseriak set and the real head stuff, speaking of the, the great event we had over.
Sorry.
Tight-ish.
Thank you.
There's always this exploration, like the giant kind of crab claw and the tentacle hand on the Kaiseriaks, and those are also paying homage to, Henshin Cyborg and the things that we've worked on with John Kent, with the Manglores. This is another one of the benefits of all of us working so closely together and being friends. And as you detailed in one of your recent podcasts, not all the quote unquote fan base is always on the exact same page with each maker.
Right.
That's fine. It's impossible to, expect everybody to collect everything. That's kind of the point.
Yeah. Look, if we're all doing highly personalized projects that are super important to us, naturally, it's not going to appeal to everybody, right? We're not making Marvel Legends. This is all like individual projects. So, it's kind of a fallacy to expect 100% saturation of the market.
They wouldn't want it anyways. It wouldn't be healthy. Collecting this is in a lot of ways the antithesis of. What Hasbro and Mattel do is a piece of what it's been in our lives since we were children. They're still at it. They're doing their thing, and they have their ventures, and they're important. They're in some ways they're the guideposts for most of the generalized collecting community. But there always has to be a punk band. There always has to be an alternative. It's inherent in that in the design that it will be sort of a turnoff to a lot of people that are maybe into something that's a little more over the plate, and as you would say, more A to B.
Yeah.
But it's important that for people to know though that, and we talk about this a lot internally. We all know each other. The makers know each other, and they're aware of each other's work, and we're sort of we're a central point to bring those things together, simply because we just happen to fuck through the forest a little bit earlier than everybody. So it's just it's important that human aspect is so there's a spotlight on it. So when you're making something, some of these projects that when you're working on it, the same here, you just kind of know as you're doing it, this one might not be as widely accepted.
Sure.
But the bravery to push it through, that doesn't exist by committee at a larger company. They make a mistake because they might have a committee that says, this is the trend. But they get their money out of it, they push it, pull it, it ends up on at Ollie's or whatever.
Right.
With our stuff, they're made in such small batches, and then when you're putting out something like Sea of Daggers, I mean, the amount of personal effort, time, everything that you put into this, it's authentic as it gets. There's just it's like having to eat.
Yeah.
You can't help it. You must make these things, and that's why we're always there. I will do anything to support the endeavors of those that authentically try. They're not just doing it because we got to do this. It's all or nothing in a lot of ways, and that's very rare.
We got some good questions in the chat here I want to tackle. Does the Naval Deep Army Builder come with a helmeted head? Yes, we are working on what the alternate visage might be, and maybe we got that pretty well hammered out. What is all in the Army Builder pack? So tonight we've announced additional tiers. Obviously we have the deckhand tier, which gets you 6 of a full crew. The Naval Deep is a separate Army Builder in this sort of blue color right here. So if people want to have an entire army of the opposing force in the Sea of Daggers, they can do that. And every purchase will sort of help tick up the goal timer on here. So this is a sort of separate store purchase that has been unlocked, although it's not unreasonable to think there might be a color variation of a Naval Deep included in the full deckhands. We'll understand that a little bit better as the campaign winds down. We do have a lot to get to, so I'm going to move on to our next reveal of the evening, and that is obviously, the first goal is $20,000 for Cray. I already see people have put in some more money. We're now at 17 and change. Very nice to see. 85% funded. So obviously we get Cray, and the project is a go at $20,000, which I think reasonably we will get. And then the next tier is currently at $25,000. And that is going to unlock a brand new character. Now, this is a sort of an upgrade kit in many respects, and I'm happy to show that off here. And once again, the image is not on screen, as it should be. Now it is. Excellent. So I'm happy to introduce everyone to Ken West. This is First Mate Ken West. And this is, of course, named after one of our most esteemed Squires of the Slice, Kenneth West. Kenneth is just a joy to the community. He has been responsible for the stop-motion animation that everyone gets to see with the action figure, the Millennia Club, on Patreon. And I got to tell you, Kenneth has put together his best film yet, and it is going out to people the first week of December when they get their boxes. It's really fantastic. So it's absolutely my honor to add him as a canonical part of Knights of the Slice. And, he's got this very cool bandana. And more importantly, this kind of what will be a softer plastic waistcoat. And I think people can kind of start to imagine the various possibly, techno-noir builds that one could do with a long waistcoat, perhaps in black. But as you can see here, once we get to 25,000, Ken West will be opened up, and he will become part of the deck crew, and you will have like two very different looks for the base body right off the bat. And I'm super excited for that. And, round of applause for our good friend Kenneth West and Circus Tense 6673, I believe he is on YouTube. Thomas Jonte saying Edgar from Final Fantasy VI. Everybody seems to think that I am sort of backwards engineering an entire collection of Final Fantasy VI or 3, depending on your parlance, through this campaign. And I obviously have to deny those rumors. That would be copyright infringement. But if my fans happen to get their hands on certain pieces and build the entire cast of Final Fantasy out of all my figures and claim that it's been a long game I've been playing for 8 years to finish off the entire cast, that's up to them. They're creating that reality. You're also now seeing some really nice concept art from Renosa for First Mate Ken West. And for those who have been paying attention on Patreon or on the campaign page, he's holding the sort of boomerang/crossbow item that hopefully we can pull off in production. We'll see. But here's another really great picture of this character. So, Cray is not a seaman by any regard. He really needs to rely on people that know their way around the salty brine, and that is First Mate Ken West easily. So, super happy to reveal that this is the following goal at 25,000. But it is worth mentioning we're not there yet, and we are not at 20,000. We have not yet unlocked Cray. I do see another couple $100 was added. We're now at 86% funded, so that's great. Love to see that. But we got to get there. And Hob is, you better wish and you better pray, because I think Hob's going to end up in a frog leg soup by the time this campaign is over. But in any case, that's a lot of stuff we got going on here, and it's all very exciting. And I'm really quite pleased with the show of support. We have a very small fan base, but everybody is very dedicated and really throwing in a couple bucks here and there to make sure that this happens. And I think that's pretty fantastic. The next milestone, really, for all of us is Legions Con, which is going on the 12th, right? Is that right?
10th, 11th, 12th. I think it's the 11th and the 12th.
Yeah. So that's going to be our big sort of final public showcase of this project. And, I got nice little stickers and QR codes all worked out. So hopefully, wherever we are heading into Legions Con, we can kind of get another burst of wind, no pun intended, with the sort of foot traffic that's going around the show. But the higher we are in the sort of amount raised leading into Legions Con, the better it is, and the more unlocks we will see. So, obviously, I want to encourage everybody to support the campaign. And also, if we don't unlock Hob, everyone can shut up and stop asking for Hob because you had your shot and you blew it. So I can finally rest easy.
What about future Hob, Jesse? When is that ever going to surface?
I mean, I got to set that up, right? So it's also worth noting the Jagged Age manga is complete. I just have to go and actually add the words to it and get it printed. I'm hoping by the end of this year I can have that happen. But let's just say within that story, it certainly sets up the possibility for, other, let's say, outfits for Hob. Let's call it that, if we will.
I hope that happens one day. I really do.
Yeah, well, the power has been given to the people. They can do as they see fit here. I'm just a vessel for them. Someone is saying that the proportions on your sketches for the Naval Deep remind them of Peter Chung, and that was the exact first thing I said when I saw these pieces of artwork.
Yeah, they were very spindly, and that it's funny on a technical level. When I was drawing those, I was given this. I'm sure somebody out there would know what this is, but it was a large, like almost 11 by 17 sketchbook, and it said just marker and different colors on the front, and it was the slickest paper I'd ever drawn on, and I was obsessed with what we were called Bay-Roll markers back then. They became Prismacolor, but I was given this by one of my longest friends, running best friends as from a kid. His father was this incredible artist, and he gave me this thing, and it took me a while to kind of figure out how to draw on it, but I think the reason that they're so fucking long looking is because the page was bigger than anything I was used to drawing on. So
interesting. You're just filling up space.
Yeah, so I would draw, and I obviously, Aeon Flux affected all of us. Peter Chung's,
of course,
unbelievable influential. Beyond it, I mean, you've covered it.
Nirasawa too, as is being pointed out in the chat by Ian.
Yeah,
no question.
Nirasawa, Yasushi Nirasawa, gone too soon, but incredible, massively influential artist. And those drawings came right off. They began when I was in college, actually in college with Jesse Moore, and it was toward the end of it. And then I was sort of intimidated by that pad of paper. I was used to drawing on Bristol paper, vellum, smooth. This thing was like a beast. You'd put the marker down and it wouldn't dry right away. So I did a few drawings and I didn't like it. But then as I started to take some time, I was pissed because I sucked at it. So I tried it as usual, New England stupidity. I kept drawing on it, and then I realized I could pull it with little alcohol swabs, like in little Q-tips, and then I would use a blender, and you could almost paint with it. It was so slick. So I ended up using it, preferring it, and that same pad, maybe one day we could look at it or something. But I did Recklin and Aves. I did some drawings of what would become Faden. I did Soul Balam, which is this sort of Yeti character who was around that same time. A character named Kane, and Kane ended up over in Glyos.
Mm-hmm.
And a funny note, that character is the one that Ralph would always push me to show his face. So
Yeah.
we had a comic that we had done, we never published, and there was all the human faces that were revealed were in all the stories that we actually never put publicly.
Yeah.
But
Quick question from the chat. Will these have the same articulation as the Gauss armor? Yes. That is the intended goal. Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Tyler. Discman style.
Discman style.
We have actually added quite a bit to the goal here. We're now at 88% funded, so thank you everybody for that. I'm watching these orders roll in. Very exciting to see.
That's awesome. Thanks everybody for supporting old Jess and all of this stuff. They can't tell you how much time he spent working on the back end of this. It's been insane. He's always working on stuff all the time, but this one's extremely personal to him, and to all of us internally too. So it's awesome to see everybody rally around it. It's very tough times out there now, with where you want to spend your money, and this is a little piece of toy history. Everything that Jesse's able to make, it's as personal as it gets.
Yeah, absolutely.
1,000 million%. There's nothing is phoned in. It never is. It's everything is done for survival, but before survival.
Yeah.
I can tell you from working with this crazy fuck, it's not survival isn't the first thing on his agenda. It's making the toy he feels he has to make. Survival, financially, all these things, they come after that. And you never see that anywhere. Only other makers that we work with are in a similar sort of mindset. So it is truly, it's truly is coming from the most authentic place you can imagine. I love to see it. Even after all these years, a lot of people do something for a long time and they succumb to the comforts of success. And when you're comfortable too long, I think you weaken in your resolve a little bit.
Yeah.
So, it's important to feel a little bit uncomfortable and feel a little bit challenged, so that you activate in that cellular level the need to create, the need to go further. Just like in a way, the whole premise of Sea of Daggers is you go out on the open sea and you're looking for something, or you're an experience or a thing. Maybe some people out there want a thing. Some people just want to see a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all of us. This community will continue to contract, all of it. Those that stick around, I think we'll see the wildest shit yet. I don't even think we've gotten there.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I like it. It feels good.
Excellent. Well, look, that's about an hour, so I think that's a pretty good place to put a pin in it. I would also encourage people, go check out Ben Spencer's drop tonight with a Galaxor, if I'm saying that correct.
Clear Galaxor.
Galaxor, sorry.
The return of clear vinyl.
Yeah.
Through our factory, and as just a quick side note, people can thank Jesse a little bit for that one, because when our buddy Paul from the factory was out visiting, when Jesse, Paul, and I were doing the fine-tuning and review of the Goth, we both were talking to Paul, and Jesse was one of the main reasons in convincing Paul to open back up Glow Vinyl, Rotocast. And Marty has had an awesome recent release with his Glow Titan Mushi, and Ben followed it immediately right up after, and Jesse followed it up with Hob. So I can't say how long that we'll be able to do Clear and Glow. This could be a limited thing just this into the early next year. So if you want this stuff, go for it, because there's no guarantee it'll be around for too much longer. Just on a side note, since you're plugging Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. And I do have a Glow Hob Is the Naval Deep the secret army builder? Sorry, just got home from work. Yes, the Naval Deep. I'm going to update the listing on the store probably tomorrow with some artwork so that everybody knows what they're getting. But yes, this is a new store unlock, and you can order as many as you want. Do I have a sculpt for Discman Hob? No, I think we kind of touched on that briefly, but Hob is such a smaller footprint. It really... one, we could only utilize a few of the discs from the tooling, so we'd essentially be throwing away a very expensive, part. And also, I kind of want to get a traditional Glyos figure out of Hob, if that makes sense.
It's nice to mix them up too. I mean,
Yeah.
Especially with Hob, with some of the things you've discussed internally about where you want to take that character. That one is it's this grand experiment. It's good to have a little bit of the old, a little bit of the new, a little bit of Discman,
Yeah.
a little bit of traditional too.
Absolutely. So on screen now, I have the sort of lineup for the potential crew. We have Cray first here to the left, and that is at $20,000. We are creeping up, getting closer and closer. We're now at 88% funded. So thank you, everybody. All those additional Army Builder and card set purchases help the bottom line here. Followed next, I will update this tomorrow with the new character Ken West, which we have, I have shown off today. First mate Ken West. It's kind of tricky to say. And then, of course, if we can get to $30,000, we can get finally a Glyos Hob. And then beyond that, there's quite a few mysterious characters. I don't know how likely it is we get to them. So I think the less I say, the better. Because should I reveal those characters, I know for the rest of my life, people will just be asking about those three and when are they coming and when am I doing them. And so, I think
Good ones, though.
they're great. People don't know how very close they are to melting their own minds and their sanity meters fully depleting. Is it 35 for Hob? Sounds right. I don't remember. Is it 30 or 35?
35 to unlock Hob.
35 to unlock Hob. But as well, look, as with all of my campaigns, the non-Kickstarter ones, I can move goals wherever I need to. So, we'll see. Let's worry about Cray first. You guys have a little bit of work ahead of you. And if you've already put into the campaign, which many people have, the next step is to share this campaign. Specifically, send it to friends that collect toys or that happen to be, pirate cosplay pervert people. Because there's a lot of those. I've seen them. They're around there.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the Naval Deep, you've shown the mer folk head, right?
Correct.
But they haven't seen the final helmeted head yet. Since I'm
yeah, I cropped that image you sent me and
okay.
Yeah.
So people just to reiterate, there is a second helmet head type,
Absolutely.
like soldier head. We're tweaking it, but if you saw the concept art, you're close. So I do think it's important that people know that it's not just simply an army of mer heads.
Right.
There is a closed mask head, so you have that sort of true army sort of building thing, and it follows the aesthetic of this kind of seashell, almost fossilized armor with a helm. And anyway, as a bodiless voice, I don't know what you're showing on that screen, but I think it should be a cool one, and that does play into some of the things coming up from some of the other makers as well. So we had Year of the Robot a little while ago, right? So yeah.
Maybe 2024 is Year of the Pirate. Who knows?
Yeah. I think it's exciting. I'm psyched.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The orders keep coming in. This is great. We are just a hair under 90% funded. So I will make the deal with everybody. If we can unlock Cray, I will take another look at the goals and see if I can't, click everything down a peg or two. Obviously, like $20,000 is not enough to pay for Cray outright, right? There's sunken costs just moving into this campaign. I'm going to be putting a lot of my own money into this, so I'm not opposed to putting more of my money into it if we can just be done with this and get Cray fully locked and loaded and ready to go. So you guys worry about getting us to Cray. I'll take a look at the subsequent goals once that happens. I also have to update, obviously, all of these reveals to the store and things like that. So I'm not opposed to, throwing in a little bit more of my cash and lowering these goals so that we can hit them. But again, we got to get Cray first. That's the first step in all of this happening. Well, look, I think that's a great place to put a pin in it. Again, we got a new 2-pack of holo cards that are available on the store. Every purchase goes towards the goal. We also have revealed the Naval Deep. It is currently under Secret Army Builder. I think I can actually, should be able to change that in real time right now. Secret Army. Here it is. Okay. Going to go ahead and rename this Naval. I spelled it wrong. Naval Deep Army Builder. I think I can actually probably change this photo real quick. There we go. Here it is. Okay, so that should help anybody who is confused. There, boom. Save. Good. It is there. You know what you're getting. So that plus the reveal of First Mate Ken West joining the ranks of this expedition, I feel a lot of exciting stuff. Oh, and we are now at 90% funded, so that's fantastic. That's a great place to sort of end it. How many design figures were there? They were sold out on the website. So originally it was going to be 2, but due to popular demand, there are now 4 Grand Admirals designing figures, and we have some killer designs we're batting around. So very excited, and a big shout out to Melissa, to Chris, to Matt, and to James for coming aboard as the Grand Admirals. That is a tremendous showing of support, and we're having a lot of fun so far with the design. So very exciting. It's all very exciting. Okay, we're gonna leave it there. I'm so happy we're at 90%. Let's see if we can get that 10% done. We're at 92%. That's great. That's encouraging. Keeps ticking up. I will take a look at these goals and see if we can do a little wiggle room and get some more stuff unlocked here for everybody. Anything else you want to add, Matt?
The only one tiny bit about the Naval Deep, we were messing around with potentially packing it in with a rapier, just that, so when you get the figure, you will have some sort of small weapon in that mold. So Jesse and I have been batting it around for weeks, but I spend a lot of time working on the concepting, and I think maybe you'll be revealing that in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that way you'll have even more of a instant army. So you'll have this, an armed little, mer warriors.
Not to mention, I mean, the weapons packs that I'm doing are going to give you a ton of different variety for outfitting these, these warriors for sure.
I love those designs on those too. It's again an eerily, weirdly similar designs that I had tinkered with back in the day for Kleinonen. I couldn't believe when I saw those designs. And the modeling is coming out amazing. That's a killer set.
Yeah.
Period. That you've got cooking there, and with great concept work and great modeling on those too. Yes, it's a good. But I just want to say thanks to everybody. Also, those that came out to the show over the weekend. The Japanese were over the moon on the whole thing. They want to do it again, and that's thanks to everybody that came out to it. Jesse Moore and I, did our best. We tried our best. We had a ton of help from internally from Big Mike Moraldo and Nikki Fung. Couldn't have done it without those guys, and it's cool to see something actually come off that way and work well. Jesse did great playing. Mark joined him. PJ even jumped in on bass.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was good. It's a cool passage while the world is on fire.
Big shout out to Alex watching the live stream who just bought a six-figure instant crew for $200. That is putting us up at 94%. Thank you very much.
Oh, Jesse, you're closing in on here. Maybe you don't want to put a pin in it.
I have to. I'm so weak. I've been suppressing a cough, a real guttural cough this whole evening. Also, big shout out to Double Dipper Jacob Chabot, who's an incredible artist. He went for a six-figure crew. He went for a two-pack, and he went for 2 Naval Deep Army builders. That is helping this become a reality super quick. Yeah, I'm over the moon. This is great. It's fantastic stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. We're gonna get this done, and it's gonna, we just keep.
Oh, you know what? We got Ricky here on the line from Plunderlings.
I love Rick.
You're not gonna be able to see this map, but this did just arrive today. Very late, but it is here, and we will have this at Legion's Con. This is the Plunderlings card slicer set.
Oh, awesome.
That Ricky was kind enough to let me do. So, Ricky, I got your goods, and looking forward to seeing you guys. This just arrived. I haven't even opened these and taken a look yet, but they're pretty fantastic. So, speaking of pirates and all things nautical, obviously our buddies at Plunderlings are.
That's your brothers in arms right there.
Yeah, 100%. Love those guys.
It's heading towards the high seas singularity here.
Yeah, everybody on board. All right, we're at 95%. I am very tempted to stay here until 100%, but I gotta call it an evening. I would rather wake up and see it fully funded than kind of stay up.
You have some amazingly dedicated, exceptional people supporting what you do, and it's so fucking hard to keep these things going.
Yeah.
And the fact that your teams all have come out and pushed this, and it will fund. Of course, it's going to, because the people that are listening to this and the people that are behind all of this, they're going to see it through. So, I think it's another testament to doing things authentically and doing things independently. It's not like a broken record on this shit, but it's important that you keep recognizing it, because it gets lost in the shuffle so easily. So just take a single moment and recognize what your community has done here.
No question.
This time in this space, because there's still factories shutting down in China right now.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the economy is going like a mad dog. So
yeah,
this thing is literally fueled by passion on both sides of the plate. So I love seeing it. It really is. It's exceptional, extraordinary, unbelievably unique. So when we got to keep that going with all of our brother makers too, all of these guys, all doing the best that they can do. I can tell you from working with all of them, they are busting ass, and everybody is a team.
There's no question.
There's different fan bases. It's a family. So, what you do here, support Jesse, that reflects on everybody else as well. And so, anyway, I just want to say thanks again to everybody out there who's supporting and listening to anything creative. Doesn't matter if it's this or anything. If you're supporting an artist that's doing their creative best, you're doing the best work possible. Just as important as the work that they're doing. By supporting them, you're allowing people to have a life that means something. as opposed to being a fucking plebeian in a hole, you know.
Yeah, it's true. I was able to quit dirt farming, which was my my previous occupation. But I mean, this is a tremendous community, and it's, you know, everybody involved is incredibly creative, incredibly curious too, right? I think there's a general curiosity missing from most hobbies and most fandom, but we have it in spades, so it's really fantastic. So a big shout out to all these squires of the slice. They make this possible.
Yeah, fantastic. It's truly excellent crew.
Yeah. All right, we're going to absolutely leave it there. We just hit 19,000. We're at 95% funded. I'd be pleased as punch to wake up and, you know, see, start chipping away at these goals. Quick comment here from Two Deer. I recently started re-listening to Distazapod from the beginning, and it's so cool to hear hooks into things we have recently seen and may soon see going back to pre-2019. Yeah, you know, a lot of this is a tremendously long game that we're playing here, and I think there's going to be a lot of payoffs and a lot of things that have been hinted at for a very long time, all coming to fruition in the next year or two. So it's pretty damn exciting. But as I promised, we're going to end it here. Thank you, everybody. We did a tremendous job of rallying tonight. I think, as I said that, we jumped up to 96%. So keep it coming. And every purchase tonight, super helpful. And we're almost at the 100th supporter. I guess maybe I'll have to send a special little gift to whoever our 100th backer is. Maybe I'll just hit refresh a couple more times and see if we get to the 100 number. That would be a nice little thing to you know what? I'll tell you.
We'll send something too from Onell.
Okay.
We'll send something to that 100 person.
Onell is going to send a present to whoever the 100th supporter is.
How about a glow in the dark goth? How would that do?
I would love to see that. Could we get that going?
Whoever does that 100 is going to get one.
Okay. Whoever is the 100th supporter is getting it. Apparently a glow in the dark goth. That sounds like something I want to own. I would like that.
Yeah, that'll be it. You'll see it. You'll check your mail.
Okay. Okay, player. Hit and refresh. Okay, we got it. We eclipsed that now. I believe Brett Barnicle is the 100th backer. So and then immediately like 6 other people backed as well.
You know what? I will do this.
Yeah.
The next 10 pledges.
Okay.
You give me their addresses.
Okay.
I will send 10 people a goth, glow goth each.
You got it.
From 100 to 110, whoever those people are.
Okay.
They get a glow goth. I'll send them out early next week.
You heard that, folks. That's right. This is QVC. We are live.
We're on the phone long enough, fucking. And this is what happened. You know?
Exactly. I understand why musical performers abuse cocaine, because just trying to live stream and keep my energy up is really. I think I'm going to try cocaine for the first time at age 43 and just complete downward spiral.
Your heart's going to explode.
Yeah, probably. All right, I'm going to hit refresh here. Okay, we're at 110, so I know who these 10 people are.
Give me those names.
I will get them to you. Absolutely. But yeah, this is great. This is fantastic. 90. All right. I will stay for 100% because we're at 99%, and we did it. Look at that. We are at 100%. Cray is a go. The campaign is a go. Congratulations, everybody. See, I'm glad I stuck around. How about that?
It's that cocaine. You know, I know you've been slipping it. That's how you're staying awake. I just eat apples over here.
I mean, that has the same effect on me. That's awesome. I'm glad
Congratulations to everybody.
Congrats to
Amazing work.
Congrats to all of you. Congrats to Matt Doughty, who now has to do all the hard work.
I love it. I live for this. There's nothing better. The family and friends. There's nothing better on earth. Period. And making shit. 1, 2, 3. Family, friends, making shit.
Whew. This is great. Well, thank you for making a dream come true, everybody. Really fantastic.
Incredible. It's a big night. Big night. Awesome.
Well, I'm glad we got to do it. I didn't actually think it would fun tonight. I thought we'd get a little boost, but yeah. Now we're, as James Cameron said after Way of Water was a hit, he's like, shit, now I gotta go make 3 movies.
I tell you, when we all work together, fucking indestructible.
Yeah,
Fucking indestructible.
it's true.
This everybody together. You got to do it, and it doesn't take much. Look what you guys just did.
Yeah,
It's incredible. So we're already working hard on getting everything squared away, and I got to tell you, Anthony Coffey, who came to us via Pat Bussey, who went to school with him. This guy can sculpt like a son of a bitch, and he
yeah,
he tackled prey like a champ, and we really been putting him through his paces. And he's got a lot of great projects.
yeah. He ain't ever worked with 2 people on the spectrum quite like me and you. Poor guy.
I know we cover it all, every possible deficit we have. So
Yeah.
He's a very patient, very deliberate human being.
Yeah. Okay. I truly have to go now.
Yeah, go to bed.
Apologies.
You got to go to bed.
Yeah, I got to tuck in all the various decrepit animals we have here. So.
Yeah, I'm glad that little kitty got found.
Yeah,
Nice.
boy, that was a. Yeah, Dan. It was all Dan. Dan from Zstar found it, or rather, like.
Oh yeah.
Well, he called and he's like, "I'm coming over." It was like, 9:30. I was ready for bed. He's like, "No, I'm coming over. I got night vision goggles. I got flashlights. We're doing it." And he did. He dragged me out of
He's a
bed.
hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that guy's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Go rest up, get charged up, because tomorrow we gotta sling it.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Congrats to all of you, and thank you, Matt, for joining us. And the only thing left to say.